course, it makes sense to pick your actor and your director and your publisher while you're sitting there in your closet in Coronado, California, while still a SEAL typing away. And then to have that actually happen is quite surreal.
Hey guys, I love when people are together. It's great.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
I hear
We
that a
missed
lot. Yeah, this is awesome.
We took it for granted, didn't we?
Yeah, it makes it easier for us too. So I'm going to dive right in. Jack, I'll start with you. This is a character people were fan casting since the release. And, you know, when I'm reading something, I'm picturing somebody. But I've read that you kind of pictured a certain someone as James Reese the entire time. Can you tell me about that and just what it means to have Chris Pratt in this role?
I sure can. And, you know, as a child of the 80s, it was just so natural for me to think about someone eventually portraying the character that I was writing in chapter 1 when I'm still in the Navy and no one has ever heard of me before. And I thought of Chris Pratt playing that role because at the time he hadn't done Guardians of the Galaxy, hadn't done Avengers, hadn't done Jurassic World. He was in Parks and Rec. And then I got to see his transformation into a SEAL operator in Zero Dark 30. So I saw that transformation and I saw someone who was inherently likable on and off screen. And I thought, who is that person that needs to take a risk? And then as I continued writing and his career in film started to progress, and I thought, okay, this is someone that needs to take a risk, like Tom Hanks did after doing comedies all throughout the 80s, takes a risk with Philadelphia in the early 90s, and then can write his own ticket from there. And the world opens up. And I thought, who is that person for this generation? I thought that's Chris Pratt. He can bring this character to life. So he's the only person I ever thought of playing the role, and Antoine is the only person I ever thought of directing. Because once again, of course, it makes sense to pick your actor and your director and your publisher while you're sitting there in your closet in Coronado, California, while still a SEAL typing away. And then to have that actually happen is quite surreal.
I was going to say, we all think about that. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be working for this person, doing this. And that. But it's to have it actually happen, that's amazing.
Well, Jack was on the Little Bird typing while they were jumping out of the window.
Hold on, guys. Circle it around.
I'll be right back.
Chapter
Middle of the
42.
scene. Yeah. Circle
Jack,
it up.
we're up into chapter 43. I got one more.
Also,
Hold
Jack,
on.
I love that you said that, you know, you watching Parks and Rec, because it just makes me think that you were watching like Burt Macklin FBI and being
That's
like,
right.
that's
Everybody brings that up. Everybody brings that up. Yeah. I think these days there's a Roadhouse and there's a First Blood impersonation that he does in there as well, which are obviously, you know, two films very important to my childhood and my upbringing.
For Antoine, what was the hardest thing from the novel to adapt, but you knew you didn't want to drop it? You knew that you had to find a way to do it.
Everything. I wanted to keep everything. There's not one thing I didn't want to drop. And I don't think we did, really. I mean, you know, luckily we had a great team, and Dave, a great writer, a showrunner, and and the team we had in the writer's room. We tried to hold on to everything. You know, I was just greedy when I read the book. I wanted it all in there. And I think we got just about everything in there, and maybe a little different form at times, but
Yes.
the same sentiment, the same idea.
It's like the same puzzle with pieces just in slightly different places.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's cool because you're going to have surprises as a book fan watching this show. And then you mentioned this earlier, that if you go the other way as a fan of the show into the book, you're going to have that same sense of surprise.
Right.
And I think that's really the kind of hallmark of great adaptations. If you can honor the material and then give those fans something new in the experience, make it feel new again,
Right.
you've done something cool.
Yeah, keeping all those changes rooted in the foundation of the novel, that dark, gritty, primal, authentic foundation, which was important to the entire team. So for me to see that and to see them achieve that with the changes, as an author, you can't ask for more than that. And these guys completely crushed it and knocked it out of the park.
And for those people that do work backwards, they watch this show that is kind of presented as this big, long movie and then realize, oh, there are so many more novels. There's so many more James Reese stories. One even very recently came out. Do you see your guys teaming up again, doing more? Do you think this could be a big franchise that we're diving into?
We shall
Fingers
see.
crossed.
That was the goal.
That's the goal.
We certainly went into it with that big picture of wanting to do that. So if we get blessed and be successful, Amazon will do it again.
Yeah, we have a roadmap for each season ahead of us. The only problem is this man writes one book per year, and it takes us a lot longer to make a show.
I don't know what their problem is.
Yeah. We're trying to keep up.
Let's go.
We're trying.
Come on, team.
We're not SEALs.
Come on. More coffee. Let's pour coffee. Let's go.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Thanks a lot.